Okay, guys, welcome back to Hustle and Highlight. This week we have a super fun topic. We're going to talk about wild client stories, meaning anything a client has said that's kind of out of pocket or just stories that are just not usual.
And these aren't just from us. These are stories from other hairstylists in the industry. We will not be saying names at all. But this is what we have to deal with. It's not all peaches, rainbows, and
Everyone leaves
highlights and
so
lowlights.
smiley and totally fine. Sometimes we
Yeah.
get threatened.
Yeah.
And charges disputed and hear the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think the big thing too is being, the industry ever evolving. A lot of clients think that this is with any industry. They think they own you because they're paying you.
right.
But in all reality, we can choose who sits in our chair as well.
Yeah.
So if you give us a bad vibe or
It
you're...
works both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're just, giving us the ick, you will not be sitting in our
I
chair.
feel like if the energy just isn't working well, then for everyone's sake, I feel like it's best if you just go find someone who like matches your energy.
Yeah, you just
know
have
what
to
I mean?
protect that for sure.
Yeah. So it's mutual. It's not always like, I don't like you, you got to find someone else, or like vice versa. You know what I mean? I also, on the way over here, I was thinking about some clients, like for instance, I've had to kind of last minute reschedule clients this past year because my daughter started kindergarten and she was just having a hard time there for a minute, and I wanted to be there for her, obviously. Like, that's my number one priority. Mom before, like, your hairstylist, sorry. Actually, not sorry about it. But so I've had to last minute cancel on some clients or just reschedule them. And a couple times I've had clients be a little bit bitter about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thanks for doing my hair for a couple years. Bye, basically. But
it's like you can't control that. You have a life
But
other
the thing
outside of
is,
that
I was
too.
thinking about like if they were going to like a dentist or a doctor's appointment or something like that, and the dentist or doctor was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I have to reschedule you." They'd be like, "Okay, no problem. When can you get me in?"
Yeah.
But it's like because we're like hairstylists, it's all of a sudden unacceptable in their
like
eyes,
we work
which
for
is
them.
interesting. So just wanted to throw that out there too.
No, that is really true. I especially becoming a mom or when they're sick,
It's hard.
or anything random last minute. It's like, well, I booked this appointment because my birthday is tomorrow. Or
Yeah.
Okay.
And like at the same time, it's like, you think we feel like good about
Canceling.
having
No,
to reschedule or cancel. Like
Yeah.
it leaves a pit in my stomach, honestly. And I've been doing hair for 16 years now, and it's still hard.
Oh yeah.
Like it's hard to reschedule or cancel on someone. And it's also hard to like receive negative feedback, I guess we can call it, or
Yeah.
like just negativity in any way. I feel like it's one of those things, no matter how many like reps you put in towards that, it's just
Doesn't
hard.
get easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like goes to show or like goes to say is like, say if you didn't get the result that the client really wanted in that session, and they're quick to go to another stylist thinking that they'll do, like, what if your hair is compromised or you can't, it doesn't lift how you initially planned, because
Right.
you can't really, you don't know until you put lightener on it, right? Or until you see the
Yes.
underlining pigment and things like that.
Yeah.
So they're really quick to be like, oh, this girl couldn't do it better, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Or like just leave you cold turkey, when it's like, feedback is great. Even negative
yeah.
feedback is great. Like that's how we learn. That's how we grow.
Yes. I'd prefer that over someone just like ghosting.
Yeah.
And the worst is when someone comes in with black box dye and they're like, I want to be blonde. And then you are the first one to touch up black box dye hair. So of course they're going to not leave with it platinum blonde that first session. So you do all the like
Hard
shitty
work.
work,
Yeah.
right? And get it to be like a nice bright orange, and then you tone it to like a medium brown, and they're like, oh, she didn't do what I wanted. And then they go to another person. Well, you just did like the hardest part of
Exactly.
getting the black box dye out. And then the other person has the easy job, you know?
Exactly.
So that's hard
and
too.
then
but-
you just get negative. You just get talked about negatively when
right.
it's not
Oh, she
your
turned
fault.
my hair orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a lot
deal with all
harder than
kinds of
just
stuff.
it's actually like science behind it and color theory and all of that things.
Yeah.
And people don't really
we don't
realize
just
that.
play with hair all day. It's a little more detailed than that.
Well, getting to the interesting stories here. Let's see what I have.
Give us our first crazy client. Can we call him that? We're going to.
Yeah. We're going to. Let's see here.
I feel like sometimes too, you'll be in the salon and you just feel something across the salon happening.
Yeah.
And everyone gets real quiet because everybody could feel like, oh shoot, something's going on over there. Let's listen in just in case we have to have her back.
My goodness.
Like the other day when you were doing my hair and then one of the girls' clients threatened her at the shampoo bowl.
Oh my gosh. I was internally dying inside. This sweet little old lady.
She was like, I don't know, maybe in her 70s or so, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. She went to sit down at the shampoo bowl and said to one of our girls, how did she word it? She said, oh, don't get me wet this time or else.
Or she's gonna fire her pretty much.
Yeah, basically. But the words she said was or else.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, she is serious.
She's sassy. She's either sassy or serious.
I'm like, okay,
Or
well,
both.
you're going to have to like keep your head down in the shampoo
Yeah,
bowl.
that's one thing too. Is in the shampoo bowl, clients think they're helping you by lifting up so you can get the hose underneath, but that's just soaking your whole entire back.
Keep your head down.
Keep your head down. We will do the heavy lifting.
Literally, yes.
Okay, here we go. So this is to a stylist, another stylist, not either one of us.
No names.
No names. Not sure which date we put my next visit with you on, but regardless, I won't be back. I can't spend money sitting in a chair where the person behind me is just deciding on her own what new configuration to do with my own hair. Way too much stress on me. Not sure what I did to you. You are definitely in control of your own corner of the world over there. Have a peaceful life. Like, what? That's wild to me.
How would you respond to that? Because for me, initially, this is terrible. And I've been doing this for 16 years and I still just want to give them the middle finger emoji and be like, have a good life.
And then
but obviously
also,
we don't
like,
do that.
Do you not respond? Because they already said, have a good life.
Have a good life.
Like, I
just
personally,
like-
I'd be like...
I feel like I would just like the text message.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, not giving
Just to let them know it
in
was
my
received.
past years,
I know, right?
I would definitely say something witty back.
Yeah.
But in these years, I'd probably just like it and not message back.
Probably like it and say, sounds great, thanks.
But in my head, thinking, like, you're in an environment where you're around girls, like, your guys are all talking, like, it's, like, you know, fun. I guess I don't know what this this client is, her vibe or whatever. She might be just really quiet and not want to, like, have any conversation
Right.
or anything like that. But more so than not, there's, like, it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a fun experience.
Well,
so
and-
why not have conversation with other girls? Like,
Right.
what do you mean configuring your own color?
Did she mean like she wasn't comfortable with how the stylist was working out their formula or something like that? Because let me tell you, like you just said, it is a lot of science and numbers happening.
Yeah.
And so I feel that sometimes you need to put a couple heads together to
Well, it
come up
says,
with a formula.
I
You know?
can't spend money sitting in a chair where the person behind me is just deciding on her own what new configuration to do with my hair. So like that stylist almost sounds like the stylist was trying to figure out what her own formula should
to
be
do on her hair
versus paying attention to the client.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's kind of funky.
Yeah. I mean, did you already formulate the client? Are you foiling? Like, I
Yeah.
have questions, you know?
Same. Yeah. It's still
There's a gray area there.
yeah, and I feel like, I mean, I guess, I don't know. If she didn't want to go to that stylist anymore, then that's a great way to leave, I guess.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear she's not coming back, period.
Another one of the girls says, I had a client shave her head, then literally a week after ask if I can install her 22-inch hair extensions because she's going to aftershock and wants to headbang.
And wants to headbang.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.
Wait, no, I have questions here. Did she shave her own head? Did she have what was that, 2007 Britney moment?
I have no clue, but
Poor
to me
thing.
it's sounding like, she maybe just...
Listen, I feel like
cut
if
it
I
really
ever
short.
were to shave my head, I would be...
50,
I would
150?
have... Well, that too. I would have wigs on wigs
Oh,
on
yeah,
wigs
same.
on deck, ready to go if I
Yeah.
ever felt the need to shave my head.
Yeah.
Did she shave her head because she was going kind of crazy?
I should
It
ask more
sounds like
questions.
it.
I have no idea.
Wow.
Someone's also said that a client told told her that she has a low IQ.
Okay.
Oh my god.
First of all,
I'm putting the face to the hairstylist and this is making me laugh. Oh god, she's great.
I just feel like if you are a client and you're choosing a hairstylist and then you're going to tell them they have a low
Why are you
IQ,
sitting
what
there?
does that say about you?
Yeah. Yeah. And why are you sitting there in
Why?
her chair? Obviously she has an IQ high enough to do your hair.
You're right. And for you to trust them to do your hair. Hello.
Oh my Lanta Lucy.
The audacity people have to say these things is just unbelievable. It's wild. I can't even handle it. I can't imagine sitting on my phone and typing out a message saying you have a low IQ.
I think this might have been in person.
That's even worse. Like, what?
Good Lord. Aw.
Okay, give us another one.
Okay, so this one is saying, if you don't mind me asking, because I'm genuinely curious, why does getting extensions cost more than rent? Then the stylist goes,
Okay.
I think it costs so much because it's real human hair, and growing it, paying for it, cleaning it, and processing it into wefts probably costs a lot. Then when I buy it, it's a huge expense, but it's a luxury service that people are interested in. And then the client goes, oh, okay. I don't mean to sound rude or anything. I was just very curious on why it costs that much. That's all, like, just being the curious blonde that I am. And then the next one is like, so I'm going to hold off on the extensions. But I'm going to need your help dyeing my hair blonde. Oh. So that's a cool subject because we do them every day.
Let's address it. Let's address the big elephant in the room because, yes, extensions are expensive AF, period. No matter who you are, no matter what your financial state is, but everyone values things differently. So if you're not valuing the extensions, that's fine. Don't get them done. But we all value things differently. Maybe you rather spend that money on a fancy car. Maybe you value that money enough to spend it on a fancy bag or whatever. It's something different for everybody. But extensions, at the end of the day, the hair itself, the hair cost itself, and I won't go into detail, but it costs us a lot of money just to purchase the hair.
Yeah.
And then we have to go and dye the hair. And then we have a whole...
Cut, color, install.
Yeah, color appointment for the client, right? Which is another expense. And then we give you a little take-home bag of full-size products. It's like...
And then we don't get paid time off. We don't get vacation pay, anything like that. We have to pay our benefits out of pocket. So we have to have a set hourly to even make... enough money to survive. And then we have children that we have to feed that like to throw snacks on the floor every 5 seconds.
And it's like, if you're an insurance agent and I'm coming to you for insurance, I'm not going to be like, why is it so expensive? You know what? I'm just not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
you need it.
Yeah.
And if you need extensions, then this is what it is.
Right. Period. That's it. That's just it. Really what it is a math equation.
But also
how
they're
you
made
that.
is insane. It's like,
yeah. If you look at how ethically sourced hair extensions are made, you can go down a whole rabbit hole. Now, if you want cheap extensions, you can either get synthetic hair, which will mess
Sizzle
up your real hair, or you can get not so ethically sourced hair, which is scary.
yeah.
And you can also go down that
real
rabbit hole.
bad.
It does smell bad. And there might be a couple bugs in there. And yeah, it's just, there's bad things happening for non-ethically sourced hair, I would say. So extensions may cost more than your rent or mortgage, but you don't have to pay that every month either.
No, and it lasts a long time.
Yeah, about a year. It's a one cost per year, and then of course you have your maintenance costs, whatever. So again, it's just all about
I've
what
had
you
clients
value.
last sometimes even 2 years and their hair is completely in great shape.
Yeah.
So it's all about how you take care of it. So I'm just curious if we should get into the...
Okay, give us our spicy one.
Okay.
Is that what we're thinking about right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, here's the
This one,
Adam, I'm so sorry.
Buckle up. Buckle up. This one is wild.
Okay, so here we have a stylist. She's a new client coming in, and then the client goes, do you have a donut pillow I could sit on? And then the hairstylist goes, no, but if you're uncomfortable, I can place some towels down so it's more comfortable for you. Client goes, I just left the hospital because I got my ass stitched up. And then
this could mean so many different things.
Yeah. When I first read this, I was like, wait, okay. Dialed in now.
Okay.
The hairstylist, eyes wide open, goes, we can reschedule this appointment. You didn't need to come if you're at the hospital. Without skipping a beat, the client instantly speaks and says, no, it's okay. I had an affair on my husband and met this guy at a hotel since my husband and I haven't had sex in years. We started to have sex and it slipped in my ass and tore me open.
Keep going. There's more.
I ran to the bathroom and put a towel between my legs. And after trying to clean myself up, I came back out and the guy was gone.
There are so many things to address in this.
Okay. The hairstylist goes, I'm really sorry about that. Are you sure you don't want to come in at another time? Client goes, it's okay. I need my hair done. And it took me a while to get this appointment. Okay. So that starts off.
Where do we start? First of all, I would probably offer the client a drink.
Yeah, that for sure. But also, I commend her for being honest,
Yeah, interesting
and
that
as
she was a new
hairstylists,
client.
we're kind of like therapists.
Yeah, that's a lot of heavy information from a new client.
And right off the back, you haven't even sat down yet.
Yeah, before you even touch their hair.
Oh gosh,
I just don't even know where to start. I don't know if I've ever had anyone come in and say that.
Well, I mean, I'd hope not.
Or something close to that.
I have not either.
Wild.
At all.
I have so many questions. What was she coming in for? Just like a gray root touch up? Was she coming in for a whole ass extension appointment? Because I can't imagine the rest of the stories.
Supposedly it was
sharing.
an older client.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then also, is that how her husband found out that she was having an affair? Because she came home from the hospital with...
Well, supposedly they hadn't had sex in years, so he probably didn't even notice.
What? That's wild. She can't even sit down
Unless
without
she was
a donut pillow. I can't. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? What would you have said? I think I would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry, Betsy. Can I get you a drink?
Oh, yeah, probably that. And then obviously as the appointment goes on, I'm sure more details come out.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
And then you're like... Then I would probably ask, where you met the guy,
Yeah, have you talked to him since? Because he just left you there.
And also, F him.
Yeah, how do you feel now? You not only probably feel shitty because you just got your ass stitched up, you cheated on your husband, and now the guy you cheated on him with doesn't want anything to do with you so much to where he leaves you in a hotel room after that happened.
That right there is called instant karma for cheating on your husband.
So bad. So
Jesus,
bad.
That is so...
How do you deal with
gnarly.
that? And then I have questions too, for the stylist. Is she now a regular client? Because that's a lot of heavy information to unload and her never to come back.
Yeah. Maybe she word vomited and now she never came back because she regret what she said.
I mean...
I don't know.
She left just like the guy that left her in the hotel room. I can't imagine. That's terrible. Terrible.
So gnarly.
So that wasn't
also very disturbing.
Yeah.
I am fortunate enough to not have any gnarly stories.
Really?
Yeah. No crazy clients. I did have one crazy client. Just anything you did, you couldn't make her happy. She'd keep coming back, but nothing you did would make her happy.
Like, it
This
was
is an
never good
older
enough.
lady. And then I finally was like, okay, I kind of set boundaries and I was like, hey, like, I'm not making you happy. Mm-hmm. So let me see if the owner of the salon at the time can make you happy. And I like, shoot her that way.
Okay, how
And
did that
then
go?
she didn't make her happy either.
Well, some people just aren't happy with themselves. So it's like,
Yeah.
you can lead a horse to water, but that's all you can do.
You can't make them drink.
You can't make somebody happy who's not internally happy in any way.
And I
You
was
know?
just telling you this, that I hadn't seen her in years. And like the last year I've seen her right
Like, out
behind me in
and
the
about?
grocery store.
Oh, geez.
And
How do you handle that?
she's just like,
Do you
can just-
mutually act like you don't know each other?
Yeah.
That's my
for
favorite.
Sure. But she's just like, I can't explain it. And I'm not one to say this, but she's just an unhappy human being. And she's
sad.
just mean. She's just a mean lady.
I feel sad for her. That's terrible to walk through life like that.
Yeah. So, and she even cut me in line.
Hell no. And you still didn't say
Yeah, I
anything?
was just like, okay, I'm just gonna. It was Trader Joe's, so it was chaos, and
Let it
I was
happen.
just
Just
like,
let it happen.
Yeah.
She needs it more than you. It's okay. It's okay.
Damn, she's real ballsy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very fortunate I don't have any
that's your
crazy
worst one
stories.
ever?
That's probably my worst one ever. Yeah.
Oh my God. We can open up Pandora's box on all the horrible clients I've had.
I haven't had any like crazy ones. There've been like gnarly like hair stories, but some of them are my clients still to this day. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, that's another thing too. I feel like sometimes I feel like some people have the personality where they just kind of have to test you. Mm-hmm. And then once you get past that, it's almost like they respect you more.
I feel like that's with any client. They like test you to see what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
And then they're finally like, they get comfortable with you and they're like, okay, I won't cross that line.
Like, they see how spicy you're going to get. And if you give it back to them, they're like, okay, I like you.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I feel like 90% of my clientele I've had for a long time.
Are like that?
Since I started.
Really?
Yeah. We've grown to be like family because it's just
Wow.
like, we're both like shit talk to each other,
I probably only have like a handful of those clients, and I hold them near and dear to my heart because they're a rare breed.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
But Amber, you got any wild stories for us?
I do. This one just popped into my head. So when I started doing hair, I was 19. So I had a lot of like younger clients, like high school age clients. So one girl was in a lot of pageants. Mm-hmm. And her mom was like a pageant mom, if you will. So kind of like a crazy dance mom, but like for pageants. Mm-hmm. And she came in blonde highlights. Like, she's already pretty blonde and just wanted highlights to be even more blonde. Mm-hmm. So super easy, did it, done. The client, she was so sweet. This girl was so genuinely sweet. Her mom comes in at the end of the appointment to pay, and she was so pissed. It wasn't blonde enough. And the girl was looking at me like, oh my gosh, like I could just see in her eyes were saying, I'm so sorry. Yeah. And during the appointment, her mom wasn't there. She was kind of like warning me about her mom and telling me, like they didn't see eye to eye. And her mom was just kind of like crazy about the whole pageant thing. She's very particular and all these things. And then sure enough, the mom shows up and she fit the description. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
fascinating.
Yeah. The daughter was like, Mom, I like my hair. It's fine. I love it so much. Like, chill out. And the mom was like, not having it. So I did her hair again the next day.
I grew up in doing pageants. So I
Wait, you were in pageants?
Yeah. I knew.
Wow.
I know what you're talking about. It's okay. I mean, thankfully my mom was never like that, but
I can't see your mom being like that. No. Yeah. I feel like that was probably my first not terrible, but at the time it was mortifying experience. So,
oh yeah. So
I feel like that really kicked it off.
Did you try to lighten her more? Or?
Yeah. I just like highlighted her more. At the time, toners weren't really like a big thing. So just lightened her hair more. And that whole next day, that whole appointment, she was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. Poor thing. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh.
How old was she? The client?
she was still in high school, so I would say she was probably like 16, 15, 16. Then I had another client. I had been doing her hair, same thing, lots of blonde highlights back in my day. Lots of blonde highlights. So she comes in and she showed me a picture of this really high contrast, like dark root, like darkest brown root with blonde, like bleach blonde, white blonde.
Is this still no toner days?
This is still no toner days. So
I commend you.
I know, isn't that wild? But anyway, long story short, with her, I told her, I was like, I don't think this is a good idea for you because you don't get your hair done that often. That root's going to grow out and look real funky. I don't think you're going to like it. And because she was used to doing like natural blonde look, you know? So anyway, I was like, this is what I think we could do. And we'll just work our way slowly to that. And so we did. This whole appointment, she's telling me, oh my gosh, my work's been so stressful. My boss is giving me all this extra work because somebody quit. And she was in school to be like, I don't know, something in the dental field. And she had like a final exam coming up. She had to write some kind of an essay that night. And it was kind of late when I was doing her hair. So she was super stressed. So at the end of the appointment, I was the only one in the salon. One of the other stylists was like cleaning up after her day. Thank God. And because she witnessed what happened. So
is he like, what? Is she trying to fight you or something?
She did.
Stop.
Yeah. So the girl, I like finished blow drying her and she's just like straight face in the mirror, straight like Kanye face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just, and I'm like, you know, when you blow dry someone's hair after all your hard work, you want so badly for them to be like, oh my gosh, I love it. So great.
That's the best part about being a hairstylist.
Yes. No, it didn't happen. She got up, she like stood up super fast and turned around and she was like,
you didn't even get to curl it yet?
Oh no, nothing. She was so upset. She was just like, this is not the picture. And I was like, whoa, okay. You know, we talked about like, we're not going to do the picture because it was a big change, whatever.
And secondly, why do you get all hostile?
And then she was like, what do I owe you? You know, after like telling me all about myself. And I was like, you know what? You don't owe me anything. I just want you to not come back.
Yeah.
And so then she like starts to walk out of the salon. And at the time, all the stations at the salon I was at were like up on a platform. Yeah. So she like walked down the ramp and like got to the front door, put her hands on the front door, and then turned back around and came all the way up to me, got right in my face.
Stop.
And I was like, she just was like going off and yelling. And honestly, I don't even know what she was saying because I was so, you ever get so pissed that you're like shaking?
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
So you just blacked it out.
Yeah. And I was like, I just need you to leave. I just need you to get out. Yeah. Like, just leave. And thank God there was another stylist there who witnessed this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the girl left. And then the other stylist was like, whoa, what was that? And I was like, I'm done. I just need to go home. Like, and at the time it was probably like 9 p.m. because I used to work super late like that. And oh my God, that was terrible.
Oh, good Lord.
Never seen her again.
Not even around town?
Nope.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, so there was that.
People just have some internal... They're lacking some their supplements.
You know what? And like, I got home.
Mental health is...
Yeah, I talked to my husband about it, and he was like, well, it sounds like she was already stressed out. You know, like some people just... I don't know. They like, unfortunately... Not only are we hairstylists, therapists, but we're also sometimes people's punching bag, you know? Yeah. And so I feel like that was the case. She was feeling stress and a lot of craziness in the rest of her life. And she finally got a moment to sit down and stay in one place. And I was the one there.
Shocks me. It shocks me is like, you're so mellow and sweet and like, so
on the inside, I don't feel like that.
I mean, I know. I see the other side of you too. So it's just, but majority of the time you're very mellow and introverted and sweet. So it's just funny to me that like someone meets you for the first time and thinks it's okay
to just get all up in my face.
Good Lordy.
Yeah, she was all up in it. So that's probably like the second craziest story I have.
Okay.
I've had numerous texts that are similar to that one, like "have a good life" or whatever that one said.
Yeah.
That are very like condescending. Like, "Oh, thanks for doing my hair so great for the past however many years, but bye." You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, bye, Felicia, get out of here. So I've had lots of those, which is fine. I also, when I receive something like that, I feel like, okay, this is just growing pains, right? Like sometimes, and a couple of the bad messages or whatever you want to call them were received after I started doing hair extensions because my price went up. At one point, I got rid of color clients, which, by the way, it's probably my biggest regret in business. We can touch on that later. But a lot of people were very unhappy about it, and they let me know, which is fine. So anyway, I feel like that you always get negative feedback when it's time for, when you're growing, when you're like stepping up. I feel like there's always, like, you kind of have to like shed the old negative stuff off. And in a way, I feel like that's what that is, right? That's what's happening in a way. So I've had lots of those, lots of voicemails, which, man, I tried to find some and I couldn't. They were on my
Voicemails?
old phone. Yes.
Those would have been great to hear.
Yeah. So if you can give me a call back, that'd be really great. And I'm like, what? Why? So you can
I will
bitch me out
text
over
you
the
now.
phone? Bye. Have a great life, Felicia.
Jesus.
So,
Yeah, I
I've
feel
gotten
like
a few of those, but
that is like, that's huge too. Is like, it's definitely growing pains. You know what I mean? Everyone's
Yeah.
going to have it. You're going to have kind of negative feedback anyway, anything you do.
right. I mean, and I feel as a stylist too, to like take it and process it and just kind of like get the reps in with how to deal with negative situations is really important, because regardless of how you do business or what you do, there's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be someone who's going to test you, and you just learning to kind of navigate that and how to deal with it in a graceful manner, I feel like is really important on a business level, even though on the inside, you're just wanting to be in the ring like Tyson, like, I'll bite your ear off. So, but the one that takes the cake for me is the client who disputed her extension charge and won, which is really shitty.
So imagine you doing all of that work. You have this client coming in, you buy the hair extensions, which is not cheap. You do their color, you install, you cut, you style, you give them a goodie bag to set them up for success, and then they're happy. You take your after photos, your before photos, everything's good, everything's great.
Everything's hunky-dory, peaches,
A couple
rainbows,
days later,
butterflies.
all that money comes back out of your account because
Because your client disputed their charge.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. This new client contacted me through text message, which is still pretty normal. I had a consultation with her over the phone, also normal. She wanted to pay in full for her new extension appointment, instead of just the deposit or retainer fee, whatever. And so I've had that happen a couple times where people just want to get the expense like paid for. That way they can come in for their appointment. They don't have to worry about anything. It's just all good vibes for them. So she paid for her whole brand new extension install through an invoice. And she came in, we did 2 rows of 22s on her and a color correction, if you can imagine how much that was. And then she was super happy. The only red flag I saw at the time, my assistant at the time and I kept giving each other eyes like during her appointment, because the way she was talking on the phone to her fiance was mortifying.
What do you mean?
We just kept looking at each other like, what the hell is going on? Like, she was so rude.
Like it's given felon?
Not quite. It was giving divorce before you even get married situation.
Oh.
She was just very demanding, bring me this now. How could you be so stupid to forget your house key? Like literally,
Oh, geez.
just terrible, talking down to him. It was awful. So the poor guy, he came to the salon to grab his house key that he forgot apparently, and brought her Carl's Jr. that she demanded, with extra ketchup. And I was just like, my assistant at the time and I just were like, is this really happening? Like,
that
whoa.
poor man.
Yeah, like, and it was so weird because as she was talking to him, it was like she was a completely different person than she was to us.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
because she was
just two
putting on a persona.
split personality, like, in front of me. It was so weird. Very uncomfortable. And the poor guy, I feel so bad for him. But anyway, during our appointment, she told us that she was going to be moving the following week, and they were like getting everything packed up and ready. They were moving to Idaho from here, California. And anyway, so we finished. She was super happy. Took before and after photos. Then the following week, I get an email from my POS system that I use, and it was like, so-and-so disputed their charge, and then click here to see the reasoning. And it said something like, service was not provided or something like that. Like as if I didn't do her hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not right. I have her before and afters and like all her text messages, all the things, right? Mm-hmm. So when someone disputes your charge and you want to fight it, you have to send in like everything you possibly can. So I did. I sent in everything I had. Long story short, it was not enough because I did not have a contract, an extension contract or a client contract. So this is where it was like detrimental for me to implement something like that. So we have all that now. Thank God. That has actually been looked at by a lawyer. So if you're out there thinking about disputing your charge, don't. So anyway, I lost that battle because I did not have a contract signed by her, and because the card she used to pay the invoice was not in her name. And we learned that because let's say a few months, I think I did her hair in July, and in October, I have another client who I had no idea grew up with this person in the same town as this person. And she was like, oh my gosh, she came in to get her hair done one day, my regular client. Mm-hmm. And she was like, this girl I grew up with, and she like pulled her up on her phone screen and she was like, got arrested. And I was like, she showed me the picture and I was like, ooh, that's her. Yeah. So mugshot in my face. And I was like, what did she get arrested for? Credit card fraud. Up to $170,000 of credit card fraud. Oh, she worked at a medical office and was stealing people's credit card information and living her life with that. So that one takes the cake for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now
that makes me literally question, like, when you
needless to say, we have
extension
giving your
contracts.
Card
over to book an appointment, like at the dentist or something. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, she was.
You gotta trust who's behind the counter.
You can't. You don't trust a soul, and that's why I really like Apple Pay. You tap it, instantly. Nobody sees your card. The card number on your Apple Pay is different than your actual physical card number. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, that story takes the cake for me.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. I learned a lot during that disputed charge. So yeah, in our contract now, it says you cannot dispute your charge, period. Yeah. Sign, initial.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was probably the most horrible client experience I ever had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that was right after, let's see, my daughter was 7 months old. Had my first kid, opened the salon, and then months later, COVID happened. So
yeah, there's a lot of things.
Wild. Yeah.
I was just thinking about this. Remember that time that I was at this salon? Remember that time I I had a client and she came in multiple times, extremely late all the time. And then finally I kind of set the boundary. I was like, hey, like you're now 20 plus minutes late. I can take you, but I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of giving her different.
What happened?
She came in, stormed in, all pissed off.
At you?
Yeah. You were standing right there, but you probably don't remember. All pissed off and like, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Fine, I'm leaving. Like all these crazy things.
Why did she even come?
I have no idea.
She came in just to yell at you and then leave again?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a waste. What a waste of energy.
I think she was going to try it. I think she was testing my boundaries to see if like I would still do everything for her.
Right. Like cancel the rest of your day just so you can fit her
But I feel
in.
like clients don't understand is even if you're 15 minutes behind, like we have a certain time block that sets us up our whole other days and our whole other clients up for success. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you being like 15, 20 minutes late is going to roll into the next
Like
client,
I can't blow dry you.
Yeah. So
sorry.
there's, like also we're all human. Like sometimes we run late.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. We get it. But to be a repeat offender over and over again and then demand certain things, it's just not, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And that's when you kind of figure out who you want in your chair and who you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all have
Sometimes
the same
it takes a
24
couple
hours.
appointments to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever had to fire a client? You fire her? She kind of fired herself, it sounds like. When
Yeah.
She came in, yelled at you, and then walked out.
Yeah, I did have to fire actually 2 clients. One being the girl I saw in the grocery store that I said earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one being another extension client. And yeah.
Why did you have to
It's
fire
kind of hard
her?
to give details on that one.
Was she always late? Did she not pay you?
She was just very demanding. She didn't respect my boundaries. She paid me. She was great on that aspect, but she was like very demanding in certain things. And then say she was always late, and then she would come like, oh hey, like I say I had a set time block for color and extensions for her. She's like an hour late, and then she goes, well, can you do my daughter's hair instead?
Oh.
Like, no, this is not how it works.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could do your daughter's hair at a different day, but right now I don't have time for that, and now you're an hour late, and that was the last straw. I was like,
An hour late to a 3-hour appointment.
mind you, this client,
That's
after
a
I
lot.
had fired her, tried to use a different name and ask Amber to do her hair.
Oh, I don't remember that either.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
We'll talk about this later.
Because she's still in the salon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. It all clicks
She went to a
now.
different stylist now.
Okay, yeah. That's wild too. I personally have had a couple of clients who don't come to me anymore, which is totally fine. I get it. Still come into the salon and see a different stylist. But what's really interesting is when they're there, they won't look in my direction. They won't talk to me. They it's the most awkward
Like, you don't own the salon or
thing
anything.
ever. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just not come into my place of business? If they're there and I see them and I walk through the door, hi, good morning. Like,
Yeah, you've never
nothing.
been
Zero.
bitter or rude.
Again, Kanye face. And I'm like, I just want to know how much energy does it take from your soul to be like that? Well, like, it must be exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so much easier just to be like,
Oh, hey.
I'm here getting my hair done. I love my stylist. Obviously, you don't hate the salon you're coming in because you keep coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be like, oh, good morning. Like, wouldn't that feel so much better than just to be like straight, like, meh. You know?
I feel like that just sets the tone for the whole rest of the
Yeah.
day. Like, your life must be so miserable.
I know. I feel bad for those people. I do have another one that popped into my brain. Another extension client, curly hair extensions. She came to me one time. She was referred by another one of my clients. We did her install. We styled it curly. We styled it straight, and then curling iron curls because she wears it all those different ways. So I wanted to make sure the cut and everything blended as it should.
Which that in itself takes a long time.
Oh yeah, the styling was about 3 hours. But anyway, luckily she just wanted to stay like solid dark color wise. So that was easy. But yes, she came in. Anyway, long story short, did her extension. She was super happy. She made a TikTok with me while she was there. And then I didn't hear from her for the longest time. I'm talking like 4 months or so. And usually your move ups need to be 6 to 8 weeks, especially with curly extension hair. You need to be like on top of that.
Yeah,
and I made
it
sure
will rat up like no one's business. And then you have dreadlocks that we're going to have to comb out for 3 hours.
And I made sure I let her know. So like 4 months is going by. My husband and I are on vacation visiting some family in Texas. I get a text from her that was like a novel, basically demanding that I do her hair. I give her a refund because her hair and her extension hair weren't like they were matting and like all these things were happening. And I was so taken back because at this point I'm like, okay, it's been 16 weeks. I just figured she saw another hairstylist because she was also in the industry. She works in the hair industry.
Well, then you should know better.
Yeah, and she was telling me as I was doing her hair, like, oh, so-and-so I know, and my cousin does extensions, blah, blah, blah. So in my head, I'm like, oh, she must have just, like, went to one of them. Totally fine. Until I got that message. And then she was, like, showing me pictures, and I noticed in the pictures, she was sitting in a styling chair in a salon. That wasn't ours. So I was like, oh, it seems like you have gotten your hair worked on by like somebody else. You know, it's like been this many weeks. Someone else touched your hair. I don't know what they put on it. That could be the cause of matting, all this stuff. She wasn't having it. So I was like, look, I'm on vacation right now. I'm going to be back in the salon on this day. I have, 30 minutes if you want to come in and we could talk about it. So that's what she did. She came in. It was just her and I in the salon. She had a very strong personality. I was pregnant with my son at the time. So I was like, okay, let's just like get this over with, whatever. So at the time I had a mindset coach, shout out to Morgan again. And I was like, I texted her about it. I'm like, look, I have this client, like, what do I do? Like, how am I supposed to navigate this? Am I supposed to give her money back like she wants? Or,
hell no.
Because that's like a lot of money. I haven't seen her in a while. She let someone else do her hair. Like, I don't know what they put on it. So anyway, she comes in and she is so pissed. She's like angry pissed. And again, she has a strong personality. So I'm like, okay, I'm exhausted because I'm pregnant and I'm not a good pregnant person. I'm like sick my whole pregnancy. So I'm just like, well, trying to retain whatever she's saying.
Yeah.
And so she was basically demanding for her money back. And she kept asking me, well, what are you going to do for me? And I was just like,
I already did what
I have done everything I can do for you.
Yeah.
Like I did your hair. I sent you the home maintenance sheet. I told you to rebook 6 to 8 weeks. You didn't. You reached out to me at 16 weeks plus after you let somebody else touch your hair. I have no idea what they put on your hair color wise, product wise. Like I don't.
Was her hair grown out a lot?
She had the other stylist take her extensions out.
So there's no way for you to even tell.
I had no idea what was going on. How am I supposed to fix something that's not there?
Yeah.
So anyway, she wanted her money back. She was like, look at this hair. It's dry, holding up the extension hair. And I'm like, I don't know what that other stylist did. Like, I don't know what has gone on between your first appointment and right now. Like, she wasn't making it clear to me, like, what the other stylist had done.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I stood my ground, which if you know me, that's kind of hard in this situation, especially because, again, it was just her and I in the salon. I wasn't feeling well. I was pregnant. She had a very strong personality, like borderline getting in my face. And I stood my ground and was like, I can't, like I've done everything I could do for you.
Sorry.
Like that's that. And she like stormed out and it was over. So, and then she threatened me to write like a bad Yelp review, whatever. I was like, have at it, sis.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yelp to me is whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was another one. Yeah.
We've definitely touched on a lot of wild stories. Moral of the story, be nice to your stylist and we'll be nice right back.
Right. Right.
Also, if you haven't already subscribed or followed us on YouTube or Spotify, try to do so now.
Yes,
and
please. It would be
support
much
us.
appreciated.
Have a good day.
Bye.